Chapter 1. The Beginning. Mom left, Dad left, leaving Nevaeh all alone at home, her daily routine. Nevaeh's mom and dad, Elizabeth and Stephen, were always busy volunteering for the community and taking on jobs whenever possible. But they never had time for her. She never had someone there for her ever since her sister, Eloise, left home to live alone in the middle of nowhere. However, her experience with being alone made her more independent, forcing her to not rely on others as much, even though everyone here does. Nevaeh puts down her guitar after playing the same notes repeatedly for a while. She stands up and shakes her foot vigorously after sitting on it for 2 hours. Slightly limping from the discomfort of her foot, she heads towards the door, about to go on her scheduled walk. She turns the knob, and a cool breeze brushes against her face, making her nose run slightly and pushing her hair behind her. She stepped outside, slightly tapping her foot, basking in the beaming sunlight in the center of a lavender blanket. She begins her journey down the sidewalk, enclosed by towering palatial pillars that frame the prodigious houses, gleaming in the pristine capital. The green foliage climbs these grand buildings, adding vibrance to the monotonous color scheme. Everyone crossing her path shares the same ear-to-ear smile. No stress, no worries behind their blank, staring eyes. She makes eye contact with each woman who passes by her, and quickly breaks it to glimpse over the protection they have over their purses. A lady with light brown hair that touches her shoulders and is slightly shorter than Nevaeh stands a couple of feet away. Nevaeh's eyes met hers as she gave her a smile that she quickly returned. Nevaeh swiftly adjusts her eyes to her handbag. It loosely hangs from her shoulder, swaying behind her, the perfect grab. Soon enough, they crossed paths, Nevaeh slowly walking at an angle until she bumped into her. "I'm so sorry," Nevaeh said, as she immediately hid the purse that fell into her hands behind her back. "No worries," the lady replies, with a kind smile growing on her face, this time showing her teeth. Nevaeh hastily turns around and continues down the sidewalk, holding the bag in front of her and admiring her biggest steal yet. A scream comes from behind her. "My purse!" Nevaeh began to sprint, the adrenaline kicking in. Her hair blows against the wind as she quickly maneuvers herself between the pedestrians. A man nearby whips his head toward her direction, bolting after her, and soon enough, more follow after him. Nevaeh began to sprint, the adrenaline kicking in. Her hair blows against the wind as she quickly maneuvers herself between the pedestrians. A man nearby whips his head toward her direction, bolting after her, and soon enough, more follow after him. Nevaeh ran as fast as she could, her strides growing every other step. Her eyes move left and right, looking for an escape. They are locked on a dark alley ahead of her, a perfect diversion. After a couple more strides, she ran into the alley. Her body jolts and rises. Her arms and legs flail around as if a photo of her running has been captured. She suspends in midair. Time stops. Her head slowly moves left and right, widening her eyes and furrowing her eyebrows together. She slowly drops down, and the speed of time comes back. She catches herself with her hands and knees on the floor, breathing heavily. Nevaeh stands back on her feet. She looks around intensely, her eyes moving left and right at a slow pace. Her face drops and is covered in fear as she runs down the alley. After 5 seconds, only her footsteps echo in front of her. Nevaeh comes to a halt, silence waving through the abyss. Nothing but her breathing bounces between the walls that tower beside her. The bright light from the city pierces through the darkness, getting brighter and brighter as she walks closer. The bright light from the city pierces through the darkness, getting brighter and brighter as she walks closer to it. She tries to walk out but can't. An invisible wall stands between her and the outside world. The people chasing her and the lady whose bag she stole look blankly at the entrance of the alley, facing her. What the heck? She continues to bang against the barrier. No one responds, and disappears as they walk further into the alley, but not the one she's in.